Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. We are back today, and we are going to get right into very good news for Donald Trump. The left will continue to say that the momentum is high for Kamala Harris, but many Democrats have already came to their senses and they're saying, you know what? We are starting to see a pattern here, and we're starting to realize things are not looking good for Kamala Harris. She is doing nowhere near as good as Hillary Clinton in 2016, nowhere good as Joe Biden in 2020. In fact, Donald Trump is destroying her in the polls. Despite defeating Donald Trump is winning the most polls that he has ever won in, I don't know, it since ever before. And they continue to say, "Oh, it's Trump's going to lose." Blah 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 blah. Kamala Harris has so many polls. Blah 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 blah. And we're like, "Hey, you're not looking at the numbers. How she's winning these polls. We have polls that said that Joe Biden was supposed to beat Trump by 10, by 10." And now, during this time, we have polls that are showing Kamala Harris beating Trump by 1? That's ridiculous. And expectingly so, Donald Trump is getting his momentum back because we are near election season. It's usually after Labor Day when voters start to focus more on the said, in this case, the election. The election or elections, depending if it's a midterm year or a presidential year, it's usually after Labor Day. Uh, we start to hear more about the election, but we started to hear about it more after the debate because it wasn't Joe Biden's fault for being cognitively declining. It was just because we had that debate so early in the year in June, the earliest it's ever been for a presidential debate, and it didn't really help Joe Biden out. And in fact, it solidified and convinced that, you know what, Joe Biden is unfit and unhealthy and unable to do his job. So today we got 3 states, both going in big for Donald Trump. You'll see in the state of North Carolina, Donald Trump is projected to defeat Kamala Harris by 2. And I can guarantee you it's at 0.3 because we have the Emerson College poll that had, as you should know, Donald Trump, Kamala Harris defeating Trump. And yeah, I believe it's going to continue to be like this. But the thing is, New York Times, Siena College, you'll see one half had Donald Trump destroying Kamala by 2, and the other half of the poll had Donald Trump destroying Kamala by 1. And yeah, it's sort of tossed up here. You'll see race to the White House, which I believe is always been in sort of favor for Democrats, has Kamala winning by 0.30. But seeing that Donald Trump is doing so well in North Carolina, a state that he was supposed to lose by a lot in 2016 and 2020, he is winning this state. This is pretty much saying, hey, it doesn't really matter the propaganda, how much propaganda the left tries to push onto us. It's pretty much set and done. This race, I want to believe it's going for Donald Trump. Period. Period. And today we'll be updating our prediction in the state of North Carolina, a state that we've now really looked at a lot now, seeing that this state has really gone in favor for Democrats. Has it really? No. I don't. I have a hard time believing it. You'll see uh, Donald Trump was supposed to lose the state by 0.60 for to Joe Biden, but in the end, Donald Trump wins it by let's see, a margin of 3.34. Um, yes, very interesting. And looking at this said election, I do think Biden, Kamala, whatever it would be performing a little bit better. But let's see. Yeah, Scotland is the most compatible, but I honestly do not. I personally think it would look sort of something sort of like this. The same result that we've been seeing in the last couple uh, episodes, where we usually see Kamala Harris lose. I'd say lose. They would be flipping out. Well, yeah, lose by just a little bit. This, as you know, but she is carrying Scotland County. It's not like that's a more populated county as they would make it, as they would like to think. Um, but yes. All right. But yes. Okay. 76 counties for Donald Trump, 24 counties for Kamala Harris. This is what it's looking like in the state of North Carolina as we speak. Interestingly enough, uh, yeah, like it could look like this. We go ahead and looks exactly like the 2020 projection. And well, actually, hang on, I forget a county right here. It looks exactly like the 2020 projection, and still like Kamala wins. That again, she has all the said cities, like Charlotte, Raleigh, Wilmington, all these big cities to help her win. I think this is Asheville. Um, there's no really there's not really any other major cities that she can pick up that would result to a win. So this could be, in other words, this could be a Democrat win. But the problem, how Joe Biden ended up losing the state, was there was turnout, right? There was higher and bigger turnout in these redder counties. See, because these redder counties do have a population, believe it or not. They do have a population. Notice also New Hanover, which has Wilmington, is more of a conservative county, but it barely voted for Joe Biden. Barely. In other words, it was a very, very competitive county, New Hanover County, by it's one. That was the margin. Biden won by 2.13. Um, that does make me think, oh, do you think Donald Trump's going to win this county? Well, I don't know. If it's going to be this close, like this is my said prediction, then I think, you know what, there's a reason probably she's picking up New Hanover. It's not like Democrats can't win New Hanover. Like that was just a one time thing. Clearly, we could see in the 2022 election in North Carolina. 3.2. And yeah, that's because of New Hanover. And you see, you don't have to carry New Hanover to perform such a big win like Ted Budd did against Besley. You don't have to perform a that big of a win, but then again, it would be handy and useful to have in hand. But yes, this is my projection for North Carolina. 25 counties for Harris, 75 counties in favor for Donald Trump. We can now take a look at the state of Georgia. And in Georgia, uh, you could say, yeah, I believe Harris gained a poll, but of course that quickly changed. Look, going to 2024, that quickly changes here. Going to the polling, yeah, 0.9, that's the average they want you to focus at. But it looks like to me they have a hard time updating this average because it looks to me Donald Trump's killing it. You'll see he defeated Kamala Harris in the New York Times poll by 4. The honeymoon is over. Sure, it is extending out of the margin of error, but you're going to say Emerson College's poll, which was took down a few days ago, which was in the margin of error. You'll see Donald Trump's defeating Kamala by 3, defeating Kamala Harris by 2. I think this state is all into the hands of Donald Trump. And my projection and prediction of what it's probably going to look like is it's kind of going to look like the same like it did in the 2022 Senate election during the first round, where I had Washington County and this county right here go in favor for Donald Trump. Sort of how those two counties went in favor for Herschel Walker 2 years ago. So, yes, we're going to go ahead and color in the counties. Got a big long list of counties. So, yes, the Sunbelt seems to be going red. And I would say without no surprise, first off, North Carolina and Georgia, Arizona, they're red states, period. And just remember, regardless, if you count Georgia, Arizona into the pile, because they're red states, then the only state you got to win is Wisconsin or Michigan or Pennsylvania. It doesn't really matter. But Wisconsin's going to be more easier. And that's then said and done. It's horrible polling in Wisconsin. Remember, I keep telling you always, and you are probably all sick of and tired of me reminding you all, Joe Biden was supposed to win Wisconsin by 8 points. Did he do that? No. He underperformed bigly. He only won it by 0.7. That is horrible. Donald Trump is polling, I don't know, he's under, like, Kamala Harris is polling 1 point. She's supposed to win Wisconsin by 1. Finally, they gotten to their senses and thinking, Kamala Harris is going to win by 1. But do you expect me to believe that a state that is literally teetering for Democrats by less than a point is supposed to be to go back, shift more to the left after we had the migrant crisis, foreign policy issues, the economy? Sure, they could do it because of abortion, but abortion's not the number one issue on voters' minds. The number one issue is the economy. The number one issue is immigration. Those are the two issues. Abortion's all the way down. Sure, it's a main issue that is, of course, rallying your base together. That's good, I guess. But you can't go ahead and say that's going to be the main issue of 2024 when it's clearly not. It clearly isn't. Because polls have told us that the immigration and the economy matter most. Two issues, most important issues, and Donald Trump is leading in those polls by over 5 points in a margin. That is huge. Now, I could go ahead and say it should be bigger because who would give Kamala, who's the 40% of people that think Kamala Harris is going to do great when it comes to the economy? I think that's Democrats. No, I'm sorry. I mispronounced their name. NPCs. Because that's what they are. They're not Democrats. They're NPCs. And they happen to be Democrat. They're NPCs for the Democrat Party. They said, do you approve Kamala Harris? Oh, she has a D by her name, so why not? Yes. Doesn't even matter what she stands for, because if she has a D by her name, then you have to support her. That's how it is. It's not a race thing, not a gender thing. It is a letter. It is a political affiliation deal. So, of course, we look to Arizona, same results. Nothing's really changing. Updating ourselves into those polls, you could clearly see, I think Arizona is probably where Donald Trump won his biggest win. Take a look here. Yes. Well, actually, hang on. Okay, never mind. It went down because, of course, Morning Consult had to drop their stupid poll. And ideally, Donald Trump shouldn't be at 0.6. He really shouldn't. Now, let's see. It's out of the margin of error. So that's possibly and probably the reason why these polls aren't being counted. But then again, they say that, oh, let's see. You still see Donald Trump still winning a majority of them. Look at this poll. Out of the margin of error. These two polls out of the margin of error. Out of the margin of error. This was August, though, early August. And ever since then, it's been all Trump polls. And they're thinking, oh, Republicans, it's out of the margin of error. Like you'll see, Emerson College said Trump beats Kamala by 4. You got to trust those numbers. But then again, you can't go ahead and think that Kamala doesn't have an energetic base either. Because the truth is, that's not true, because she does. She clearly does. And the fact is, maybe she can overperform what the polls are saying. Well, I doubt it this election year, but maybe next election year in 2028, maybe she will. Because we got to remember, Trump overperformed, right? But Democrats are already overperforming. This is the realistic overperformance in a realistic situation where Democrats are doing bad. You expect Democrats to win by 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 points in a year where, in an era where everything that is happening in the country is their fault. No, that's not how it works. So Kamala Harris winning by a point is possibly true. I don't know. But the idea of her overperforming that record is unlikely. Very unlikely. Especially in a race where it seems, okay, we have the economy in favor for Donald Trump. We have the immigration issue in favor for Donald Trump. We have the, once again, registered voters in favor for Donald Trump. Yeah, you got the woman in favor for Kamala Harris, but she's losing so many male voters. Not only that, but she's losing so many labor unions. And there's a reason why they're talking and they're panicking right now. Like I said a couple videos ago, a month ago, 4 weeks ago, I want to believe, close to a month, I said Democrats never admit that they're screwed. Never. Because they did once, and that was after the debate, because they actually knew they were. And to a point, we kind of need to be like that. It's never over until one of the candidates reaches 270. Other than that, we need to go in with an open mind and confidence of victory. So, yes, the Sunbelt is in favor for Donald Trump. These states are red states, no surprise. North Carolina, a state that has voted for Donald Trump during his most unpopular polling times. And people think, oh, Kamala Harris has a chance of winning the state. Really? Really? And we're going to deny that. We're going to now erase the fact that Donald Trump won the state twice while he was supposed to lose it by a much larger margin in polling than it is right now. Really? Okay. You're going to go ahead and believe the polls for a third time. Okay, I guess that's fine. Go ahead, do it. Actually, yeah, we're forgetting one county here. Yes, 59 counties here for Kamala. But yes, and then there's Georgia. Like I always say, a state which really all you got to do is, like, let's see with the election shuffler. The election shuffler will tell us. And it will most likely be even easier than what the election shuffler is saying. Okay, we bring Fulton County to the right by 2. guess what? GG, it's over. Republicans, actually, no, never mind. No. And I can guarantee you we have more work than that. But you could say it's pretty close and pretty much said done 0.3. That's obviously a Republican victory. Bring Cobb back. GG, it's over. Republicans win. Ideally, I'd expect Fulton County to go back to the right by, I don't know, 2, maybe 3. I'd expect Cobb to go back by 3. And by that time, Republicans already win. Gwinnett is a county that Republicans have been going door to door, getting those voters out. I'd expect, Democrats still have an overwhelming chance of winning this county. But it's not going to be. Okay, now this is starting to get a little wonky. It's not going to be what they actually thought it was going to be. It could be Republican plus 4. Because it was 59% at 50. Imagine it going by 5. 59. I have a hard, sure, it is a county that's more populated, but having more African American voters swing to the right, I'd expect, ideally, why is it D plus 6? That is unrealistic. 6. Okay, no. Realistically, Republicans aren't going to win this county at all. I think it's going to Kamala by 56. Shifts to the right by 3. Wow, we almost win this county, but the state by 0.7. So it's really Fulton, Cobb, and Gwinnett counties. They're the most populated counties. What about said DeKalb? Well, DeKalb could go to the right. We could go to the right by 1, but I wouldn't give your hopes up in specifically DeKalb County, but yeah, having let's have Fulton go to the right by 2. Okay, Democrats still win, but not that. It went from 0.24 to 0.3. Just having Fulton County shift to the right by 2. That's not a good sign. Okay, you have Cobb County. I ideally think it's probably going to go to the right. It could be 54%. I think shift to the right by 4, because we got to remember shift to the right by 5, because we got to remember this is a former Republican stronghold. Romney carried this county, and the only reason why it went up to 57% 4 years ago was because of African American turnout. Bring that down to 5. Of course, moderates, independents, that's going to go down. So expect that to be 5. And look, Donald Trump already wins, and then finally there's Gwinnett County, which I honestly think Harris is going to win by 56%. That's still a landslide. Tell him it's still, well, actually, ideally, yeah, it's 56. But we'll see. Yeah, it's still within that margin. So yeah, and looking finally at Arizona, there's really 2 counties that you need to focus on. That's Maricopa. You don't have to win Maricopa, guys. Bring it to the right by 2. My goodness, we won the election. We won. I mean, that was amazing. What about bringing to the right by 1? What difference does that make? Well, look at that. We won the election. Seriously. All it needs to do is trend to the right by 1 point. 1 point. And I'm praying it does. Because what could happen if it doesn't is it could trend to the right by 0.5. Or other words, 0. And as a result, I guess actually, no, this is wrong. Because we shouldn't be gaining. 0.5. Let's see what happens. Nothing really changes. because, it doesn't register a number. You can't do point number because that's what can happen. It shifts to the right by not even a point. That would be disappointing. But it can. It absolutely can. Because it has in the past. But that's what I'm hoping. So my prediction, shift to the right by at least one. Shift to the right for Tucson, probably down to 56. If we get this county of Pima down to 56% for Dems, ideally margin should be larger. There we go. 56. Well, I will say it's 56. Yeah, margin's pretty good for Trump, 0.60. So, and ideally, 0.60, 0.61. They're kind of, and Georgia should be more conservative than that. But yeah, we're poised to win the Sunbelt. It's going to be inevitable, guys. Let's put some money on it. I'm going to bet you all the money I have that Donald Trump's going to carry these said states, Sunbelt states. It's Donald Trump states to win. And just carry a state. And you don't even have to carry the Sun Belt. You don't even have to carry the Rust Belt. Democrats are in a tough situation. They need to not only carry the Rust Belt, but they have to carry either Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, or North Carolina. Because winning just Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania is not enough for them. They at least need one of the 4 Sun Belt states. If they don't get it, they're screwed. Trump just needs to pick up 3 states that Biden barely won by less than a point. How easy is that? So there's no doubt about it that Donald Trump has the most easiest way to victory and starts down with the Sun Belt. So what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, I will see you all in the next political episode.